Attorney, if you want to.
We're going to ask Attorney McLean if she would please offer the motion for executive session.
I move that we go into executive. Move that we go into executive meeting to discuss pending and potential litigation, real estate, and personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Voting, Ms. Bonner.
Okay. That motion carries with Mr. Johnson, Mr. Mason, and Mr. Lewis out.
All right. With that being said, we will enter into executive session.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your patience. We're going to get started in just a minute. We're just waiting on our attorney and our clerk of court, so we apologize for the delay. It shouldn't be much longer. Thank you so much.
All right. I'd like to call this meeting back to order. Entertain a motion to exit executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Voting, Ms. Bonner?
He's out.
Mr.
He's
Mason's
out. He's out.
Yeah, cut me off.
That motion carries with Mr. Mason out.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Brown, do we have any motions?
Yes, we do, sir. We have several motions.
Mayor Pro Tem, I would like to request a motion to accept the resignation of General Counsel Wayne Brown, effective July 12th, 2024, and provide 6 months of severance pay by way of salary and benefit continuation and cash out of vacation pay upon the execution of customary settlement and release of claims agreement, as he will be available for transition consultation purposes during the severance period.
So moved.
Second.
All right, voting, Ms. Bonner?
That motion carries 8-1, with Mr. Bobby Williams voting no. Mr. Mason? Absent. Yes, sir.
All right, next item.
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Johnson, I would like to request a motion to approve the transfer of real property located at 2815 Regency Boulevard, identified as the unhatched portion of Tract A of the attached plat, to the Augusta, Georgia Land Bank Authority.
So moved.
Who's,
Ms. Scott?
Ms. Scott?
Voting, Ms. Bonner?
It's unanimous with Mr. Mason out.
Thank you. Any other items?
There are. I would like to make a motion to approve the transfer of .28 acres of land, real property, adjacent to 1310 Walker Street to PSH Augusta Downtown, LLC, by quitclaim deed to, let me start over. I would like to make a motion to transfer .28 acres of land, real property, adjacent to 1310 Walker Street by quitclaim deed to PSH Downtown Augusta, LLC, under the guidance of the Augusta, Georgia Law Department, subject to easement and deed restrictions as required by the Augusta Engineering Department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Voting, Ms. Bonner?
It's unanimous. Mr. Mason out.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Mayor Pro Tem, we would like to request a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the settlement of all claims by Derwin Jackson in the total amount of $32,500 payable to Derwin Jackson, and further authorizing the administrator to disperse the amount of $32,500 directly to the payee or through the service agent for the workers' compensation claim, waiving any Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia ordinances in conflict with this resolution for this instance only and for other purposes. So moved.
Second.
Motion and proper second. Voting, Ms. Bonner?
Unanimous.
Thank you. Attorney Brown?
We will request a motion to adopt a resolution by Augusta, Georgia Commission to direct the Development Authority of Augusta, Georgia to terminate that certain sublease by and between the Development Authority of Augusta, Georgia and C4 Live LLC dated January 13, 2020 and related matters.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a very
Glory
proper
day.
second. Voting, Ms. Bonner?
Okay. It's unanimous.
Attorney Brown, do we have anything else?
No, sir.
All righty. With that being said, I believe the mayor has a point of personal privilege, and I guess we will allow him to have it.
Well, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I certainly appreciate it. Before I go to my point of personal privilege, I just want to thank Attorney Brown for his commitment to the city for 16 years. Sir, really appreciate it. Thank you for your guidance and everything that you've done on behalf of the mayor's office. I appreciate you, okay? I just want to let you know, saying that.
Thank you, sir.
All right. My point of personal privilege is that starting tomorrow, May 1st, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And with us today, we have some mental health professionals that are sitting on the front row. You probably see the green ribbon. They're with the Mental Health America Augusta chapter. So we thank you for being here. A lot of people don't realize how important having a healthy mind is and having a healthy state of mind. So we appreciate your work throughout the community and with your organization across this country. We just wanted to recognize you. So thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much.
And Mayor, as chairman of Serenity Mental Health, I want to thank you guys as well for the work that you do. And I know that your work often goes unthanked, but we're here to stay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. With that said, we're going to turn it over to the committee. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to call public services to order. Madam Clerk, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda today? Okay. If there's no questions from my colleagues, I'd like to consent the following 3 agenda items. Number 7, 9, and 12. 7, 9, and 12. Is there any other ones y'all want? No? Can I get a motion to that effect?
Second.
Got a motion and a second for 7, 9, and 12. Voting, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
under agenda item number 9, adopting the title, I was talking with the administrator yesterday, and a lot of credit needs to go to the Planning and Development Department for putting this together. So I would like to tell Planning and Zoning, thank you so very much for taking time out. Y'all worked tirelessly to make this happen.
Thank you. Planning and zoning. Noted. Thank you, sir, for mentioning that. All right. We ready to show the votes?
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, we're going to go top down. Agenda item number 1, please. Mr. Kepner. If you are part of these agenda items, be ready to come forward and state your name and address for the record once you're called on.
Number 1, AN alcohol license, AN 24-18. This is a new location. The applicant is Mr. Katha Kapu. This is for a retail package in beer and wine. Again, it's a new location located at 3082 Deansbridge Road. Planning and Development and Sheriff's Office recommend approval. Is the applicant available?
Applicant, please come forward if you're in the chambers. If not, we'll move it to the full commission.
All right. Next is AN 24-19. This is also a new location. The applicant is Deep Patel. This is for a retail package beer and wine location at 3293 Deansbridge Road. For the Gas World 7, the Planning and Development and Sheriff's Department recommended approval. The applicant here.
Mr. Patel, please state your name and address for the record. Home address.
Deep Patel, 646 Emerald Crossing, Evans, Georgia.
Thank you. Were there any objectors, Mr. Kepner?
Oh, I forgot.
Any objectors to this alcohol petition? None noted. Got a motion. Can I get a second? Got a motion and a second. Voting, please. We got a question, sir. Mr. Patel. Can you speak in, Mike?
Is this the new one on Gordon Highway?
No, sir. This is the new one that we're planning on for Deansbridge.
Okay. Where on Deansbridge?
Do you know where Davis Furniture is?
Mm-hmm.
It's the lot in between Davis and O'Reilly's.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's unanimous.
Agenda item number 3.
All right. Next Next is AN 24-20. This is an existing location. The applicant is Betty Brown, requesting liquor, beer, and wine consumption on premise located at 307 James Brown Boulevard. For the Pasha's Island Soul Restaurant, Planning and Development and Sheriff's Department recommended approval. Are there any objectors?
None noted. Is Ms. Brown here? Come on forward, please, ma'am. State your name and address, home address for the record.
Betty Brown, 307 James Brown Boulevard.
Is that your home
Oh,
address?
my home address?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
ma'am.
sorry. 226 Sudlow Ridge Road, North Augusta, South Carolina, 29841.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve? Got a motion and a second. Voting, please.
Unanimous.
Agenda item number 4.
All right, AN 24-21. This is a new ownership of an existing location. Ms. Ms. Yane requesting a retail packaged beer and wine located at 4150 Windsor Springs Road. Planning and Development and Sheriff's Department have recommended approval. Are there any objectors?
None noted. Ma'am, please state your name and address for the record, please. Home address.
Shweta Jaini, 736 Crestwood Parkway, Evans, Georgia 30809.
Can I get a motion to approve? Can I get a second?
Second.
Question.
Got a motion and a second. Question from Commissioner Guilfoyle.
This 4150 Windsor Spring Road, where's this actually located? Is it this ain't the Willis Foreman, or is it,
This address?
Yeah, the 4150 on
Yes, sir.
Travis Road?
4150 Windsor Spring Road, Hepsiburg.
It's a corner of what? That's an intersection, or is that just? Never mind, I would look it
I'm
up on the
sorry,
GIS. Let's go ahead and approve.
Yeah. Okay, got a motion and a second. Voting, please. Looks like it's near Spirit Creek and Windsor Spring. Yep. Spirit Creek.
It's an existing Texaco food market.
Existing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item, sorry.
It's unanimous.
Agenda item number 5.
AN 24-22. This is a new location. The applicant is Carl Hunzinger Jr. This is for retail packaged beer and wine for Parker's number 110, located at 3661 Mike Pageant Highway. Planning and Development and Sheriff's Department recommend approval. Are there any objectors?
None noted. Mr. Hunsinger, please state your name, home and address for the record.
Carl E. Hunsinger Jr. Address is 3113 Westwood Circle, Beaufort, South Carolina.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve? Can I get a second? Got a motion and a second. Voting, please.
Unanimous.
Agenda number 6.
This is a request for a massage operator's license by Tiffany McGuire in connection with the Mindful Relief located at 1502 Monsanto Avenue. Planning and Development and Sheriff's Office recommend approval. The applicant isn't here. She had a previous commitment elsewhere. Are there any objectors?
There's none noted. That means it'll go to the full commission next week. That a recommendation?
Yeah, recommendation plan, yes.
Okay. So we'll put it, we'll go ahead and move forward then to the next agenda item and just have that on the full commission next week. Agenda item number 8, please.
Item number 8 is an update from the Planning and Development Department regarding a revision of the ordinance relating to the modular trailers on the corner of Morning and Highway 25.
Ms. Delaney.
Good afternoon. So we were asked some questions the last meeting in regards to the modulars that were moved in off of Peach Orchard Road, one of the things that came up was was expressed the collective frustration about how the modulars were moved into the county without the proper permits. So we went round and round, tried to remove them ourselves, tried to see if we could sanction and or do some type of penalty, and that didn't work. And then what we did do is we consulted with our assigned legal team, and the meat or the teeth that we came back with based on our conversation, and I'm going to say it, but I hesitate to do it, so I want to make sure I express it. So one of the tools or the teeth that we get is when they came for their land disturbance permit, we typically don't hold people up. We want to see Augusta progress and things like that. But as far as teeth, because of the challenges we have with modulars not being a mobile home, not being able to be hauled off by just like a tow truck and things like that, the teeth would be, we would start putting some, penalties, or we would not issue land disturbance permits. We would stop issuing some of the potential building permits and things associated with those violations. So if you're violating and you come and you ask us, if you're violating our ordinance as of at the time of application, and it's a code enforcement related matter or any type of illegal infraction, what we have been advised that we could potentially pursue is, do we stop issuing them their land disturbance permits? Do we stop issuing them their building permits? I hesitate to do that because sometimes we're still trying to make progress, but they still need to be considerate of our regulations. So that is one of the ways that we get teeth, that we stop issuing those types of permits, demolition permit, land disturbance permit, site plan approval, all that could come to a halt, and we could freeze their project in order to force them to come into compliance. But that is something that will make your phones ring even more off the hook potentially. But outside of that, we do take them to court. We have the ability to take them to court. Could we win in court? That's a whole nother conversation. But that is how when we get to teeth and what we can do without having to wait to get on a docket and potential continuances and things of that nature, is if the commission had an appetite for that, we could bring back some potential language that would allow the department to withhold some of the permits that they would be seeking, to allow them to move their projects forward so that they come into compliance. But again, that makes me uncomfortable, but it is teeth. It's definitely teeth.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Director Delaney. I was just talking to Commissioner Lewis because it's in his district as well, but Commissioner Garrett went by there the other day just to see what I was speaking about, because it's been ongoing for a year and a half now. And I know that you had told me that the modular trailers is not acceptable for that use. I believe on the last time you was trying to find somebody to remove them at the tune of $25,000. Why can't we this would be Attorney Brown question. Attorney Brown, with them not removing them 3 trailers right there, corner Morning and Highway 25, which is eyesores, a downgrade for the residents in the neighborhood in that area. Why can't we put a stop work order on it and issue for them to remove the trailers? Do we have the authority to do that?
The law department, we would have to really research that before I would like to give you a definite answer. I've only had one conversation with the planning director regarding this problem, but if you could give us a little time to come back with an answer on that, we'll provide that to the planning director as well as to the commission.
Right. Attorney Brown, I guess the homeowner or the resident out of town that must have got word that this was up for discussion the last time it was on the floor. Well, they did apply for their land disturbance permit or proceeded, so there's a lot of ground being worked on right now. My problem is that if they connect the 3 trailers together, it becomes stationary, and then it's going to be a bigger challenge. can we put a stop permit, work permit on that job until it gets clarified?
We will come back with the best legal answer as soon as possible.
Thank you, Attorney Brown.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. Lynn.
Commissioner Garrett.
Yeah, and as you can see on the picture, I know that there's a land disturbance permit that was pulled back in, looks like, September of last year. Is there a reason why engineering just signed off on it at the beginning of April of this year?
I'm not sure if you're referencing a different document, but
It's
the land.
It's the permit that's on site. There's a, I don't even know whose signature it is, but it was signed off on 4/4. It says, yeah.
So this land disturbance permit is just for the portion of things where they clear the trees. This is just for the clearing of the trees in the lot. Then the next step, because you can break it down into phases, the next step is site plan approval. So then they have site plan approval, and then when they hire a GC, they go to engineering and have the pre-con meeting. Engineering typically doesn't sign off until the pre-con meeting. The pre-con meeting just happened.
Right, but I guess my question is, from the time that this permit was issued, is there not a time frame on how long before they have to start their project?
Right. And so typically the expectation is that within 6 months, you will have taken some type of activity and action. That activity towards the delivery of the project includes things like engaging your engineer, doing your soil testing, all of the preliminary work before you go vertical or clear a tree. That is considered work. So.
And I guess the question that Commissioner Guilfoyle and I both have, is part of their project utilizing these trailers that are sitting there?
The final project, they do intend to try to hire an architect to redesign and reconfigure these modulars into a building. That is their intent.
And are we okay with that?
Modular buildings are not treated the same as mobile home. They're rated differently by DCA.
Can we go back to the previous picture?
Yeah, that's not a mobile home, though. So what ends up happening is you can have a modular building. A lot of these aluminum buildings might end up being modulars. But when you think of things like portables at schools, that's what what they have to do is come up with a design that it meets the international construction codes. And if they do, we don't have grounds to stop them. Just like in residential, if a person buys a manufactured home or a modular home and it's got a certain rating that allows for residential, there are certain districts that we have to let them in. We can't just say it's not a mobile home. There's a difference. A mobile home is different from a modular. So you can put a modular in an R1. And so what you want to remember is whatever design they come up with has to be rated and designed to allow for the intended end use. So they won't just get a pass. There is still a process for this. But
how long are they going to be allowed to sit there while they come up with a design that's acceptable? Because it's already been almost a year.
Yep.
And so that's kind of the frustration.
So the property owner and the person doing the project have now engaged their GC. Their GC has met with engineering with regards to the site activities. And they are also now being very responsive now that we have a GC. And they've met with my deputy director to talk about what they plan to do. Our goal and our question was, how can we get them removed until it's approved? Because again, it should not have been placed on the site in the first place.
So are there any repercussions whatsoever for them for moving them?
We are trying.
I mean, other than moving them out, I mean, is there not a way that we can find them for bringing them in?
So what I could do, and this is why I'm bringing it to you, the real teeth at our level is when they come for their building permit, I can say, we will not issue you your building permit until you remove them. So they will move them and then potentially come up with a design that uses them and move them back in. But that would tie their hands. That would be how you move them.
I'm definitely in favor of that.
So how do we get that moving? Do we have to make a motion up here to make that happen, or do we just direct you?
I'm gonna ask my legal to tell me how to do that.
It's time to put some teeth in it.
We might need a little. Okay. All right. So he said we'll have to research it a little bit more, but that's what we'll do is we'll look at the codes and see what the codes allows us to do. But that is but I didn't, we're really looking at it, and I think that might be the real only option is your project will come to a standstill until you come into compliance.
Sounds like it to me too. Commissioner Guilfoyle and Commissioner Lewis.
Thank you. Director Delaney, can you put that picture up with the 3 units back up, please? All right. In Augusta, Richmond County, actually, that's a masonite siding. Is that correct? It's not a metal, tin, et cetera. But in Augusta, Richmond County, Burke County, Blythe, and Hetzibah, you cannot move a trailer that's older than 10 years and place it in somebody's property. Obviously, these are older than 10 years. Would that fall in that? It's not a matter of skinning a cat. It matters how you skin a cat. Old Jerry Brigham used to teach me that. But if this is considered a modular, it's coming in on wheels. We can see that. It doesn't fit the neighborhood. Every one of the residents below this picture is brick homes.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want this next to me. I know that. And this is what the residents are shouting about.
And that's why we have the moving permit process, to make sure that it's the right age and it's the right quality. You have to get all these pictures and images in before you even move something into the county. And the age limit is there too.
That water's already up underneath the bridge.
Right.
The trailers are on
And so
the
they
site.
skipped that step 100%. Right. They did not comply, and that's been the issue all along.
Okay. And I know if they go to the fuse panel, if it doesn't have the stamp, then you would have, you cannot even get it permitted.
That is correct. It's a full inspection, just like as if it were brand new.
Okay. Let's see where we go from here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Delaney, what was or what is the intention of said individual with this particular piece of land here? I mean, is it, have they applied for a business? I mean, what is the intention?
Okay. So I'm going to put it on the screen too, so if that's okay. So I'll try to project a little bit. They're proposing to put the modular buildings together in this area. They will assemble them in the factory here, and then they're proposing accessory structure here. And then you'll see this is the ingress, and then there's the parking that's proposed here. One of the things that they are considering is doing in some type of nursing outreach. So it will not be, I think their intent.
Nursing outreach is what you said.
Yeah. So for instance, you can deploy people to go out to homes to check on people, see how they're doing, things of that nature. Office space. And then I've also been told that they might try to entertain an adult daycare that will have to also get approval. That's not something that's just allowed by right. So this is what they have proposed.
So in all actuality, the three units will be assembled together to make one structure.
Correct.
To make one structure. And they will actually work out of that particular building.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Delaney, can we forward this to the full commission next week and have a recommendation back to vote on next week? Because we don't need to kick this can down the road anymore.
I think we should be able to come up with something, and then even in talking to the property owner, you can assemble these and do a facade over it. That might help soften the aesthetic and things of that nature, and then just making sure they're doing all the other stuff to comply that they should have done. We can go back and double check all that. So yes, sir. I think next week we could have some more concrete information for you. But that is the how you get to the teeth part of things. Sorry.
I guess, can I get a motion to forward this to the full commission with no recommendation then?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to forward it to the full commission. Voting, please.
Unanimous.
Agenda item number 10, please.
10, motion to approve change order number 2 to contract with R.W. Allen Construction, LLC, in the amount of $1,730.80, approved by the Aviation Commission on March 28th.
Can someone speak to these?
You taking them companion, sir?
Yeah, we can take them as companion. I just want to ask
Okay.
the questions of the why.
Yes, sir. Item number 10 is actually a reconciliation. This is for the airport's fuel farm project. So in this project, the state fire inspector required us to put quite a bit of bollards at the threshold of the fuel farm. So this is actually a net deduct in the contract, but it's inclusive of the bollards and some other cost savings in this particular project.
Okay. And what about the second one?
And the second one is the airport taxiway apron project. So this is about a 6,000-foot taxiway extension. And when this project was bid out, there was some bid alternates. We at the time we didn't know whether we were going to put in either asphalt or concrete shoulders. And this costs most of this is inclusive of the steel tie-ins for the concrete shoulders, which we elected to do.
Okay. Commissioner Williams.
I'm just going to make a motion to approve.
I guess, got a motion and a second. Voting, please.
Is that Mr. Guilfoyle? Second that. It's unanimous.
And that concludes public services. Thank you, committee.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call engineering services to order, please. Madam Clerk, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Chair Lady, I have some deletions.
Okay, well,
I'd like to delete item 6
okay.
and item 9 until the next committee.
All right. All right. Go ahead. All right. With that being said, Madam Clerk, I'd like to go ahead and consent items number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Actually, I have a question on item 2.
Okay. Can I go ahead and finish consenting real quick and then
Yes.
take 2 off? Okay. Also consent items number 7, 8, 10, and 11.
8, 10. Okay, and we'll add the delete items to the
And
consent
delete
agenda.
6 and 9.
Can we hold agenda item number 1 for me, please,
Okay.
for a brief presentation?
That we can do. Presentation.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
All right, motion to approve.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. Motion and a second. Voting. We're waiting on a commissioner from the 8th. Thank you.
That motion carries with Mr. Mason absent.
All right, starting with item 1. Okay, do what? Right, to do the presentation. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'd like to.
Just come to me.
Time out.
Just come to me. Just come to me and I'll introduce him.
All right, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Martin Newton to come up front, please. Yes, sir. Excuse me, Representative Mark Newton.
Thank you.
Yes,
Madam
go ahead
Chair.
and state your name. Representative Dr. Mark Newton,
Mark Newton,
please.
representing Augusta, Richmond County in the State House now for 8 years, and honored to work with all of you. And I want to thank you all for your work and such an important thing to keep our vibrant community growing. And I just want to thank you for that. I do look around. I have 4 kids of my own that are looking at places like Athens, Greenville, and others. Nashville and stuff, but I think we have one of the most attractive parks, a linear park, if you will, 7 miles long. When I spend time in Atlanta representing District 127, I'm right off the Beltline. And of course, there's 5.8 million people, and we don't want their traffic and their crime or anything else like that they have. But I can tell you, it is the linear park, the outdoor activities, bikeable, walkable. If you look at any apartment complex rating scales, they'll talk about walkable. Well, I think we have this incredible canal trail, and I'm honored to work with the Canal Authority. And we've been looking at this. I've been looking with transportation for some years, trying to say, how could we get more done with that? How could we make it more attractive to the citizens of Augusta? We've had some beautiful days recently, and it's amazing how attractive it is out there. One of the ideas, though, is that people need additional things other than just exercise if they're going to take their child out in a stroller, or if they're going to go on a bike or with a bike seat or something like that with a child, or just want to go for a walk. So one of the aspects that the Beltline in Atlanta has, it has restaurants and some entertainment venues. Well, we've got right there at Village at Riverwatch, this is what's on the agenda. You all have done much work on Warren Lake right there, and we're looking at a couple of areas right there to where we could bridge across the canal with appropriate approvals of obviously the Canal Authority and support, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and things like that. So we worked on this. I've been working on it for a couple of years now to get DOT to give us some money, and we do have some commitment from DOT to help with an access road that they can help this, and that would be over and above any money that you need to keep our roads safe and our intersections and lighting and everything else. So this would be supplemental LMIG, extra supplemental LMIG money. But in particular, this past year, we did actually get in the budget $500,000 as a kind of an initial commitment from the state to help with this project. I think we've just been selling that project on the Appropriations Committee where I serve as well. And so we have kind of the starting money. This money doesn't come with any strings. It is for a pedestrian bridge across the canal. It's not for vehicles, but it would include bicycles and pedestrian. We're looking right now at a spot that the Canal Authority has in between kind of the far end of Topgolf and Cabela's Bass Pro. There's some upland in there that could handle a gravel parking lot, a little raised boardwalk to get over some wetland area, and then a bridge across the canal. I think the clearing on the river is one of the most attractive places frankly, in Georgia, probably, if not the East Coast, that canal that you can access. I noticed just checking today on in Alexander Drive near National Hills and all, there's, I think, over 1,200 apartments, fairly new ones, on Alexander Drive and the 2 complexes that are in Riverwatch. I'd love those people to be able to get on a bike or whatever and get to downtown Augusta where we have the vibrant changes that are going on. I'd like the people in downtown Augusta, some of the new lofts and apartments, for them to be able to go up and still spend money in Richmond County, but maybe do it at the theater or Dave & Buster's or Topgolf or some of the other entertainment venues. So I'm just excited about this. I mentioned I have 4 kids. They're all in their late 20s, early 30s. Those are kind of the active outdoor activities that a lot of them are looking for when they're trying to decide where they want to raise their family. And I just think this could be just a small piece. I mean, you guys have big deals you deal with, and of course we have bigger things at the state level. The plan right now is to get philanthropy and donations and reach out to different individuals and groups to see if we can get this entire project funded with something attractive that would be actually visible from I-20, just barely right over the canal. We want people to go over and wonder, I wonder where that is. That looks very attractive. So we've been working with some engineering firms and things like that. This is just some starting money, and just wanted to kind of explain. I apologize for not having gotten to everybody before it got on the agenda. Certainly, Malik and we've worked together on looking for a plan for this. We want it to come right into the middle of that entertainment district, a little bit of shopping, a good bit of entertainment, but it's also access to the canal to go down to downtown Augusta for these over 1,200 apartment dwellers as well as all the homes too. So that's just a little background behind it. I'm glad to. You actually can walk out there in normal shoes all the way to the canal now. And so I'd love to invite and escort anyone that wants to see it just to get a glimpse. Certainly we're going to try to get donations from people in groups, so we wanted to be able to clean it up enough to where you can actually get out there and get a picture of what we might have. So thank you for letting me speak to this. I'm glad to answer any questions if anybody has them.
Well, we certainly do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come down and talk to us today. I'm going to see, we've got Commissioner Franham in the queue. Are you still?
Yeah, just want to say thank you. I mean, I've been on some calls with you. We've been working on this for a few years, and it's awesome to see how quickly it's kind of come to fruition, and appreciate you representing us well at the state level and putting all those boards down and all that work that y'all been doing down behind there, Top Golf and the Canal Authority and all the engineering firms. Just thank you for your leadership, and excited to make this come to fruition in the future.
Well, thank you for your help, and I'm glad. I'm open for questions later if you guys have them, or you guys have my number. Call me. We'll walk out there together. Commissioner Franham said, I do love getting out there along with Tyler and his crew. So thank you very much for letting me come down today.
All right, let's see. I got Commissioner Garrett in the queue.
Yeah, I just want to make a motion to approve this item.
I'll second. Got a motion and a second. Voting. Okay.
That motion carries. Mr. Mason absent.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bonner. Thank you,
for your
too.
work.
All right. Let's see. Moving on to item number, well, we got item number 2, and the rest of them are consented.
Item number 2 is to approve and authorize the mayor to renew and execute an intergovernmental agreement at the discretion of the Augusta Law Department between Augusta, Georgia, and Burke County to allow the county residential solid waste disposal at Augusta Deansbridge Road landfill at a waste disposable special unit rate.
Okay. Let's see. Commissioner Garrett?
Thank you. Yeah, I had a question in regards to this item. I don't know if Dr. Malik or Dr. Flight wants to speak towards this.
Oh, so we got both of them. Okay, Dr. Malik?
So the question that I have, Dr. Malik, is in regards to the rates that Burke County will be charged for bringing their waste to Richmond County. In comparison to what Richmond County residents pay, what's the comparison there?
So, I'm not sure what Richmond County, Burke County charged them, but they've been bringing the waste to our landfill since 2018 at $23.50. So when I took over, adjusted the rates, so they agreed to pay $6.60 more now moving forward.
So
it comes to, they're bringing around 21,000 tons per year, which is roughly like 1,800 ton a month, and it comes to around $268.89 per account. No, the hour is $268.89 per account, which we paid to the hauler, Richmond County, the disposal and hauling. We charge this resident $320.50, but what we paid to the hauler is roughly, let's say, $269. On that, because of the tonnage.
Let me ask you a question. If I was to go to the landfill with 1 ton of garbage, what would I be charged?
So our standard rate is $40.10.
So basically,
yeah, I think it's at the end. We have the rate table, $40.30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's the question I have in regards to this is, why is it beneficial for us to take garbage in from an outside county and making less per ton than for what it would cost me to go out there with a ton of garbage as a Richmond County resident?
So,
I know that this is business and, you want this account and you want, but, well, I mean, I understand the volume discount too. I mean,
Yeah. But that's, so,
Madam
So-
Administrator, do you want to speak towards this or
All right.
Dr. Malik?
yeah, so there's a tiered approach towards the rates. As the volume increase, the unit price goes down, and that's with not only the Burke County, but other hauler, even, the coastal and the Georgia waste system or waste management, they're non-contracted waste when they bring it.
I understand about the volume discounts, and I know that there's a tiered structure. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, is it good business for us to continue to take all of this outside garbage? I mean, we only have a limited space, too. I mean, there's a reason why they didn't want a landfill in their counties. And so I know that, hopefully we have, 50 to 100 years left in our landfill, but I'm just trying to protect us as we move forward. We're taking other people's garbage, and is, at the end of the day, is it worth it?
So our landfill, at that time, when we permitted, the decision was made, by the body and everybody, is going to be the original landfill. So original landfill, that's what it is. It's going to take the waste from the region, not from that county. So that was the concept to start with, and that's what the whole thing. As far as the rate goes, it is up for discussion, which we're doing it, and we have to go back to them. That we need to have more discussion, but at this point, they're bringing the waste, so either we continue at this rate and have a further discussion.
When is
with
the
them.
next, when would this contract be up? I mean, I appreciate you going and being able to capture, a rate increase. I think you said that it had been, over 10 years since the last rate increase?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you're looking at things holistically and trying to get things, some sort of balance.
We try to kind of balance.
So this is not a yearly contract, correct? This is.
Yeah, there was IGA was signed in 2018, and it's expired, a few months back. So we're going to work through it to get the document.
But my question was, when's the next contract? How many years?
So that's the renewal.
I know. With this renewal, how many years is this contract for? Is it 4 years, 5 years?
Oh, it says 5 years, but we can reduce it.
Are there any built-in increases in that 5 years?
Not in this proposal, yeah.
Okay. And I think that's kind of where we've been running into issues. I mean, even with holistically in the county, we haven't done built-in increases. So I'm very hesitant to approve this because you and I both know in 5 years costs aren't going to be the same.
Yeah. So I think that my suggestion is that continue at the rate they are paying, and then come back with, and have a discussion with the Burke County with the tiered approach or the rate increase yearly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at least build in a 3% increase each year.
Yeah. Right, but at the same time, we continue because, we already been getting the waste, so.
So I'm going to make a motion that we approve this contract for 1 year, and then next year bring it back with a 5-year contract with built-in increases.
That's.
I'll second that. Bring it back in a year. Okay. All right. Got a motion and a second. Let's see. Ms. Bonner?
Yes, ma'am.
A motion, second voting.
It's unanimous.
Okay. All right. That being said, that concludes engineering services today. I appreciate you all being out here.
All right, we're going to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Ms. Bonner, are there any additions or deletions from the agenda?
No, sir.
Hearing none, I'd like to offer a consent agenda of items 1 and 2. There's a motion. Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Voting, Ms. Bonner?
Ms. Scott.
Ms. Scott? Oh, okay.
It's unanimous.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Ms. Bonner. Thank you, committee.
All right. I'd like to go ahead and call public safety to order. All right. Madam Clerk, are there any additions or deletions?
No, ma'am.
All right. If my colleagues do not object, I would like to consent items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So moved.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. Voting.
I think she beat you, Jordan.
It's unanimous with Mr. Mason absent.
Thank you, Mrs. Bonner. That concludes public safety for the day. Okay.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Would like to call administrative service to order. Ms. Bonner, do we have any addition or deletion?
Yes, ma'am. We have a request from the administrator.
Yeah.
We'll put the item on the screen. Yes, sir. Is to receive an update from the interim administrator regarding Parks and Recreation Department Director recruitment.
Ms. Downs?
You ready, Ms. Downs, to present this? Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, if you recall, in March of this year, you directed the Human Resources Director to post the Parks and Recreation Department Director position. She also presented to you at that time her recommendation for recruitment for said position, as this is an executive level position. We are requesting that of the 58 positions that applied for, of the 58 applicants that applied for the position, 16 of those have been deemed qualified. It is up to the commission to deem those as individuals as mostly qualified. I would suggest that we then move to have the administrator as well as the HR director interview the top 10 and then present to the commission 7 of those, of which the commission would then be able to take a top 3 and determine how many of those you would like to interview from said point. We can complete this task within the next 2 to 3 weeks and then present to the commission our recommendation for 7. This process is similar to what we've done for executive recruiting with the administrator position and all other department director level positions. And that's my update.
Commissioner Fran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess my question is, we have an audit on the table, and we talked about making sure that we set this next person up for success. So for me, I don't know why we're rushing so fast. I'd like to hear from that, get that audit going before we start interviewing people. So I'd make a recommendation to wait at least another 60 days before we start interviewing people. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do we need to have any type of like work session through the commission to work through this process as we've done every other hired position, any other interview position?
You directing that to the administrator or?
Somebody who can answer it.
Anybody?
Well, that's good. That's good.
I'll,
Ms. Rooker or Ms. Downs?
my question was, do we need to sit down as a commission and have a work session over this, as we have in the past?
So commissioners, you know, this is my first time recruiting a department director position. I cannot speak to if it has been the commission's practice in the past to have a work session regarding such recruitment. At the same time, the body did direct the position to be posted, and the Human Resources Director posted the position as directed. And so if it is the body's will to have a work session, then I'll schedule a work session. But if you also want to delay the interviews, we could do so as well. We have a written process that I could present to you next Tuesday, have it in your agenda books for review, that could outline the process that was previously communicated by the Human Resources Director regarding executive recruitment.
I think that would be helpful. I think that waiting until after the audit has been completed might be helpful here, but I also don't want us to lose sight that we need to hurry up and fill this position. I don't mean like be in a rush to do it, but there are so many gaps still needing to be addressed in the Parks and Recreation Department, and we have other interim roles that we need to be addressing as well. So maybe we can make this into the one big motion to host a workshop 30 days, and in that vein, also have the findings of the audit back to at the same time. So I'll put that in the form of a motion.
You're on the committee? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I second that. I don't know if the audit can be back in 30 days based on what. I don't think it can.
How long is the audit going
I
to take?
agree with you on the whole workshop thing in the next 30 days for sure.
Okay. How long are we expecting the workshop, the audit to take to come back?
Sir, I would like to direct that question to the Finance Director.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. The RFP for the audit is on the street, and it closes on May the 7th. We anticipate a very quick turnaround between the evaluation, the negotiation, and then we will get the results of that back to you guys so that y'all can approve a contract. The stipulation is that the audit should be completed within 90 days of the award of the contract. So that's kind of the time frame that you would be looking at here.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I think a 60-day workshop would be probably better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So motion to host a workshop within 60 days.
Second.
Mr. Gifford?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the interim administrator. Ms. Dowse, the practice that it was before, I know I keep reflecting back to the way it was before, is that with the Parks and Recs Department be one of the largest department, I think it might be good we go back to what we used to do, best practice, as far as having the other directors was part of the interview process, since they're going to be working hand in hand with this director, and they're going to need their input is very valuable to me, no different it is the commission as well as the administration. So I would like for that to be part of the implementation, have the directors do the interview as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
Me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I agree with Mr. Guilfoyle. I think we need to do it the way we've been doing it. Ms. Dowse, you're going to bring back the process next week, like you said, right? Yes. And I think
Yes.
I think we need to look at the process that Ms. Dowse brings back, and we need to follow that. We need to follow that process. And also, Ms. Chairman, I'd like to ask Ms. Donna Williams a question, if that's okay.
Sure, Ms. Williams.
Come on, run. jog, do something, I'm ready to go.
Moving pretty quick.
I
Yes,
have
sir.
a question. You said it'll take about 90 days to bring back, to get the audit finished, correct?
Yes, sir, that's the time frame that's been stipulated.
Okay, does hiring a director hinder the process any, or will if we bring a new director back before the process is finished, will that person hinder the process any? I don't think so, but tell me.
I mean, you're auditing past events, so I would not think that having a new form of leadership would impede that in any way. Most of all the financial information will come out of the records that are in the finance and accounting department. So, no, sir, I can't see a huge detriment to bringing someone in during that process, while at the same time I can understand the desire to have potential improvements and recommendations be available to that new person coming in.
And I don't have a problem with that. I just think that waiting 90 days, and it'll probably end up being, much more than that. If we're going to wait 90 days for an audit to be finished and then bring somebody in, I think the process needs to carry through. And we go ahead and look for a person. We're going to have a workshop, but I think sometime within that window, we need to be looking for somebody to come in and take over our Recreation and Parks Department, because leadership is something that is sorely needed. I'm not saying that they don't have it now, but what I am saying is that if you leave it headless, then you have all kinds of things that go on, and some things may not get done. So I think we need to go through with the process of hiring somebody. At the same time, we can also complete the audit. Thank you. And last question, have you all come up with a roundabout number as to how much the audit is going to cost us?
No, sir, that will be a part of the RFP process. The firms will give us a quote for what they intend to charge for the work that they will be doing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Frampton, you still in the queue? You
No,
have
ma'am,
some-
no, you're good.
Okay.
We got a motion in a second, I think.
All right. Voting? Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Guilfoyle, you had a question?
Yes,
before
ma'am.
we
This
vote?
question's for Interim Administrator Dowse. I know that my colleague didn't care for the way we done it in past, but I remember when you applied for the position of the Central Service, you were interviewed by the directors as well. Was that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson?
It's unanimous.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, colleagues, anyone have anything for the consent of this?
Madam Chair, I wanted to take an item off, delete an item, number 19.
Okay.
And I wanted to table this item to a later date so that I can have further discussion with engineering.
Okay, so you're deleting it?
Please.
All right. If it's okay with the committee, I would like to consent 1, 2, pull number 3, so Director Welcher can do a brief presentation. 13, 14, 15. I'm sorry?
17, 18.
17, 18, and 19 is deleted.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, that was Mr. Johnson and Mr. Franham.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that?
Voting.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Ms. Bonner. Go with number 3.
Item number 3 is a motion to approve HCD's request loan Home American Rescue in the amount of $1 million for construction of Watson Point partnership with Woder Cooper Development and Parallel Housing, Inc. for the sole purpose of a Georgia Department of Community Affairs low-income housing tax credit project only.
All right, Madam Chairman, members of the committee, Mr. Mayor, other members of the commission. So ACD submits number 3 agenda item for your consideration. We've had considerable conversation in and around affordable housing and what it is and what it isn't. So we're just excited to have the opportunity, similar to the Lennox, to have the opportunity to work with the same developers to be able to submit another, not only affordable housing, but a mixed-use development, which will consist of 52 units for seniors, but also commercial space as well. So excited to be able to have this opportunity to submit this tax credit application on May 17th. To that knowledge, I think you'll also be proud from an Augusta, Georgia perspective to know this $16, $20 million development, how we're leveraging home ARP funding by providing this funding as a loan. Shanna Carkin with me here, our development manager, ACD, will give some very, very quick facts in regards to what this development is, and then we'll step aside.
Thank you, Director Rocha, and I will keep it brief. This is affordable mixed-use development, 4 stories. You will have 34 units of 1-bedroom apartments, 18 units of 2-bedroom apartments, and you will have roughly 3,000 square feet of commercial space, and the age limit is 62 plus for the elderly in the downtown area.
Do we have any questions from the committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you. Another good announcement. Thank y'all for your hard work. You're always doing a great job making sure that housing is affordable in the community, so thank you for that. The question that I have, and I want to make sure that Watson Point, where is this located?
This is at the 1400 block of Broad Street.
1400 Broad, so this is more so down towards?
Curtis Baptist.
Okay, all right. This is what I was, all right. And then the last question that I have is, what are the price points going to be ranging from?
So you're looking at the 30%, 60%, and 80% AMI. It could be the same as the Lennox, where you're looking at rents low as $282 for a 1-bedroom. But we also have 20 vouchers that were committed by the Augusta Housing Authority as well.
Okay, good stuff. Thank y'all for your hard work. Thank you. Motion to approve. Second.
Vote, Ms. Bonner.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Ms. Bonner, just bear with me for a minute.
I'm with you.
I need to get some clarity on from number 4 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. I believe some of these we already obligated to do, and some we don't. So we need to get some clarity first on what are we approving.
Are you going to discuss them in totality?
Yes.
Okay. So just for the record, if I could just give a brief synopsis, so we'll have them on the record what they'll be. I won't read the entire agenda item. Item number 4 is all these are to receive as information emergency requests for the Charles B. Webster Center in the amount of $120,793 by Hilton Commercial Roofing. Item number 5 as well, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Approve an additional $7,000 for construction service with Oversight Commission approval, emergency request, Augusta Commons, Electrical Distribution Center, amount $35,000 by Johnson, LaShober and Associates. 6 is for information for installing emergency request ADA staircases, railings at Diamond Lakes Tennis in the amount of $191,850 by Horizon Construction and Associate. 7 is to receive as information on an emergency request of the marble panels at the municipal building in the amount of $188,480 plus $28,270.10, 15% contingency for a total of $216,752. Kolke Construction and Associate. 8 is for an approved change order for the continuation of assessment investigation of the municipal building panel structure in the amount of $25,000, Johnson LaShover Associates. 9 is to receive as information emergency request, removal replacement central service construction shop in the amount of $43,000 by Crosby Roofing and Seamless. 6 is an emergency request for fire alarm software and device replacement, Charles B. Webster Center in the amount of $36,500, Southeastern Eastern Technologies. 11 is a emergency request for removal and replacement at the Bernie Ward Community Roof in the amount of $53,500 by Crosby Roofing and Seamless Gutters. 12 is to receive his information for the removal of replacement of Carrie J. Mays Center and gym roof in the amount of $94,325.80 by Crosby Roofing and Seamless Gutters.
Thank you, Ms. Bonham. Commissioner Franham.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Director Lampkin, I got lots of questions.
Yes.
Okay. Since we're doing all these companion items, we're going to go through them fairly quickly, but I want to kind of understand this.
Okay.
The number 4, emergency roof, has that been done already? And now you're getting the money?
No, that is complete. We just need the purchase order to pay the money. The funds are already available.
But the work has not been done yet?
Yes, the work is completed, yes.
So why is the work done and now you're coming to us?
The work is done because it was done as an emergency procurement during one of the hard rains. The flood, the water was coming in the cells and the hallways of the prison. We got a roofer out there to fix the problem because we have inmates that live there. We have staff that work there. So it was an issue. So we did an emergency procurement, got a roofer out there, replaced it, and then got it put on we're trying to get it put on the next agenda for approval by commission. It was a safety issue that had to be addressed.
Did you follow the policies, procedures? Do you feel correctly on this agenda item?
Yes, I do. This is the procedure that Central Services has been doing before my time there.
Okay. Number 5, same question. Is it already done? And now you're asking for the money? Or has it not been done yet?
Number 5 has not been done. This is not work. This is a diagram that needs to be done for the electrical system at the Augusta Commons. The issue we have at the Commons is the same issue we had at the Saturday Market, the same issue we have at the Riverwalk. All those issues are already existing. This is for the design work to be done so we can replace the wiring at the Augusta Commons. Right now at the Augusta Commons, our electrical system is totally shot. We have to have staff down at every event to help vendors and everybody plug in to make sure that we don't have any issues with anybody getting shocked or potentially electrocuted.
If this has been going on, why now is it an emergency and not done?
This one is not on here as an emergency, and this was put in to be on the agenda on 4/8/24. Not on this agenda. It should have been on here prior to, because we just received funding so that we could move forward to it. We just need approval to move forward with getting the design work done.
Okay. Number 6, the ADA stuff. Is it already been done?
That work is completed. If you look in your package with the items or the pictures that was stated, once again, this is another safety issue. We have high schoolers that use the facility for practice. We also have Mock Academy who uses this tennis center for practice. The deck was given away. We have structural issues that is listed in your packet. This assessment was done by ISM after they were contacted by Mock Academy, who did a walkthrough with USTA, which is the Tennis Association, to point out all those deficiencies. If you recall on the news last week, they were about to lose a $51,000 grant to resurface the tennis courts because of all the safety issues and habits that they had that were going on out there. So we immediately tore the deck down and had it replaced.
But have you, I mean, I hear you, and I appreciate that, but I guess my question is, the policies and procedures that are put forth for directors to apply for funds, are you following that or not?
Yes, to my knowledge, I am. The funds we're not applying for, those funds are already available. So the funds that we're using to do this is for our, it's from our SPLOS 8 account that we're using to do upgrades to facilities or our maintenance.
Okay. I'm going to stop here. I'll let somebody else. Thank you.
Commissioner Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Director, I have a question on item 6 as well. Okay. So I'm just trying to understand how replacing these decks and staircases, I understand they're a safety issue. It's the same issue really that we ran into at the boathouse and other facilities where we had bad facilities, but you did not go ahead and approve and replace those decks and then come to us. So why Diamond Lakes did we go ahead and do this work before it went through procurement as is the norm?
You referenced the boathouse. The boathouse was already shut down, so it wasn't in use, so it was not an emergency. This was an emergency because the event that took place where we went out and established it, a high school team was out there using it. We're not sure how long the deck will hold up because it's a structural issue, because it's actually a day-to-day usage facility, so it then became a hazard to the public. So that's why we moved forward with getting it demolished, and because once again we would be in a situation where we have to close another facility down.
Madam Chairlady, can I ask procurement a question?
Yes. Ms. Sands. Would you come up, please? We have a question for you.
Come on, you need to run. You need to run.
That's Bobby Williams saying that. Hey, no. I don't know if she's blonde today. It could be trouble.
That's right. I don't know why I care so much about you guys.
Miss, have a seat. Thank you. Miss Sams.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you on this lovely sunny afternoon that we're hearing.
Thank God for it. We need some rain.
Hopefully we don't need any emergency procurement on this roof. So in regards to this question, or the item that's on the screen right now, do you recall this item coming through procurement? Did it go out for bid? And was it deemed an emergency?
Mr. Commissioner? Mr. Commissioner? Yes, sir, I will. Unfortunately, the procurements, most of the procurements that you have in front of you came to me in the spirit that is being read to you today. And when I received them, they were either already done or about to be done, or they were asked to be placed on the commission agenda.
Okay. And in reference to the question about was this deemed an emergency procurement?
By the department director, yes.
And is that the normal procedure?
No.
Okay. And what about for the other items that we're going to discuss? I know we were doing these all as companion items, but I know that there's different ones that we're going to discuss. Did your department deem them as emergencies?
No.
Okay. And so the question is that the normal procedure? Does a department head usually come to you and say, hey, I've got an emergency, or is it up to procurement to deem it an emergency?
Well, according to your statute, there are only 3 persons in the city that can deem an emergency, and that would be your administrator, your procurement director, and a constitutional officer.
Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around why there's so many emergency items, and I know that there's safety issues, and I mean, I get it, and definitely, I mean, these are things that we would want to be expedited.
Yes, sir.
Director, you mentioned something about Mock Academy contacted who was it? The ISM. Is there a reason why Mock Academy contacted?
No, what I was saying was Mock Academy did a walkthrough with USTA that pointed out deficiencies. They contacted Parks and Recreation. The consultant for Parks and Recreation is ISM. So they went out to view those things and then gave us a report on what the issues were, and that's what you see in your packet. Also, just to be clear, we've had several emergencies, and I've bought this information up just so we could have them to show.
Well, but before you get into that,
okay,
I think that most of us up here did not hear what you just said the same way the first time you went through it. It sounded like you said Mock Academy contacted ISM.
No.
Am I mistaken on that? Okay. But anyway, I'm just saying that it seemed a little odd. And that's why I asked you the question. So, okay. I'm glad you cleared that up.
All right. So just to clear up the emergencies, I brought before you emergency situations that we've had in central services dating back to 2022. I guess this.
Well, and while you're looking for that, has anyone ever told you that?
Can you get this?
Has anybody ever told you that you, as the interim director, should not deem these as emergencies? That only 3 people can do it?
No, I didn't. No, I couldn't deem it an emergency. I thought it was my job and my staff's job, who is here today. They took the time out to come to support their agenda items. This is how this has always been done. These are the agenda items that they prepare. I sign off on them. We review and then declare them emergencies. This is what's always been done.
All right, thank you.
Can you turn that on for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to wait for Natasha.
So you can see this was one of our first emergencies of January 2022, which was done by the active administrator. It's the same memo that we do at any other time. So this has the emergency memo. This is what staff puts together to declare emergencies, and they send them up along with, excuse me, here's the full packet of the memo that shows the memo that was done on January 31st, 2022. Remember, I took the seat in central services in March of 2022. So this was one of them, and it shows that here's the memo. The requisition is attached that shows that the vendor was contacted and the cost, and then it also has the attachment that shows the quote from the vendor. And that's the process that they have always followed. And when I took over, the process has always been the same since then. So we have the memo, and they look exactly the same, as you can see from another one I did, and also the ones in your packet. It's an emergency memo. The only thing that changed in this memo is the name of the director. So this is what Central Services has always done. This has been the process, so they have continued to follow the process.
Commissioner Gilson.
Yes. Natasha, can you put this up on the projector, please? It's a picture of Tony and me. We're going to get some laughs today. Director Lampkin.
Yes, sir.
What constitutes an emergency?
The emergencies are constituted by life, safety, health, or effective day-to-day operations, according to what the policy says.
Okay. So this building is an emergency with these panels. I'm looking at this piece of granite marble that's actually slipping out, and below it, about 100 feet is a sidewalk walkway that goes to one of our exit doors.
That is correct. That's exactly what you're looking at. That's over the handicapped parking spaces that have been roped off for probably the last 6 or 7 months once this was deemed an emergency because of the marble panels shifting and coming off the building.
Okay. So when it comes for stopping process or day-to-day operations, when it comes to life-saving matters, comes to injuries, as an emergency is what you constitute it to be?
That would be correct. And the reason being, if you look in your packets for this agenda item from JLA, you'll see that after they reviewed and did what they had to do for the building, that they deemed it's an emergency. And to the recommendation from JLA, and it reads right here, it says, restrict all access to and from the building to just the main entry and the new front addition to the building. Restrict access around the perimeter of the building until the panels can be tested. Use a bucket lift or other means to check each of the facade panels, identify and mark panel which is loose or appears to be shifted or rotated. It says the larger threat is to members of the public outside of the building, since a reasonable scenario exists where a marble facade panel could fall from the structure and hit a person or vehicle. A panel could also hit the ground and shatter, with the resulting fragments hitting a person, vehicle, or breaking through a lower level window. A facade panel from the upper east and west side could also potentially fall and crash through the roof of the two side wings. So that's the issue we're dealing with.
Lampkin?
Yes.
I did read all that.
Okay.
I did read where the roof over there at the jail was playing havoc in there, causing risk, health, safety factors for our prisoners as well as our sheriff's department. I did read on the electrical issue. We had an electrical issue out there at the Lumpkin Road part where we lost a child, which we shouldn't have, even though the county was aware of it. But my thing is, I looked at all the dates that you had sent to Ms. Jerry Sams from March 27th, April 4th, April 3rd, March 13th, March 25th, March 14th, March 21st, as well as March 21st, that all these agenda items when you send it Jerry Sams. But my question is, why did you wait to put all these items on this agenda this week?
The dates that you're reading out are the dates that these agenda items were input into the...
That can't be, because the administrator told me it takes 7 to 10 days from a time a director puts it on in the system for it to get on the agenda.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Those agenda items were put in individually during the time that we deemed them emergency. The marble panels were deemed an emergency back in, I think that was... JLA started working on this back in October, so this is just a continuation because we still don't know exactly how big the problem is. Every time we get a rain like this, what's happening is the water is going behind the marble panels because they are loose and shifting, then coming inside the building and then causing it. So you will see those photographs inside.
Lampkin.
Yes. Okay.
Who put these on the agenda then?
Those were added, I guess they was added by the administrator because she's the last approval for them to go through the agenda.
Even though they're 5 to 6 weeks old, all of these hit the agenda item at one time.
Right, they shouldn't have done that. And once we deem an emergency, we send a memo to procurement, and then we add it in to be on the next commission agenda so that we can get approval.
Thank you for pointing that out, Director Lampkin.
Ms. Doss, you have something?
I do. Commissioner Scott, thank you. I have several comments. I was making notes while Interim Director Lampkin was speaking. He just stated to Commissioner Guilfoyle that once he determined it to be an emergency. That is a fundamental flaw and in direct violation of our procurement policy, section 1-10-57, under the emergency procurement selection method. No department director has the authority per our code to make or authorize others to make an emergency procurement. Now, while I appreciate him using my previous memorandums to the procurement department as a guide, one key step that he forgot in each one of the procurements that have been presented before you today is that he did not consult with, one, the procurement director or the interim administrator, which hence is the reason why the procurement director stated that they did not follow the policy. Now, his staff that is present also were staffers under my reign as Central Services Director, and at no point in time was this policy ever violated. The memo that was presented to you would have always accompanied either a conversation or additional supporting documentation to the administrator at that time or to the procurement director, which again is one key reason why the agenda items have been delayed. It was communicated to Director Lampkin that because proper documentation was not submitted in a timely fashion, additional questions were sent back to the department for them to either submit the required documentation, and then hence, once it came to my office for approval, it was then submitted. As many of these items today that were presented to you, the work has already been done. As Director Lampkin has just stated, Augusta is now under obligation financially to pay for the expenses. All of these items, as Director Lampkin has stated, has not been done. So the commission has an opportunity, if you find fault in anything that Director Lampkin has presented to you. Those are the 4 things that I wanted to clear up from Director Lampkin's previous statements.
Thank you,
Can I reply to that if you don't mind?
Well, let me just say, we're not going back and forth.
Can we not do this?
I have one question.
Commissioner Fran.
I'm just sitting up here and seeing this back and forth stuff is ridiculous. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think what needs to happen is all these agenda items need to be sent to the full commission. And I think between now and next Tuesday that procurement, administrator, director, and maybe a couple commissioners need to sit in a room and have a conversation, because it's evident we are not on the same sheet of music in this government on this issue. And it just looks horrible. And so I'm tired of hearing about he said, she said, I approved it, he didn't approve it. You know, it's ridiculous. And I make a motion to send all these agenda items to full commission, and then let's have a professional conversation behind closed doors with, if the commissioners need to be there, I'll be there. I don't care, but this is ridiculous.
Second. Okay, Commissioner Johnson, it's fine.
For a second on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I'll take your third. To the full
Garrett, you had
commission.
something? Okay. It's voting, and we need to set up a meeting, and I'll tell you who, along with the directors.
Okay,
But
all right.
it's not a part of
The motion, right.
the
This is to forward these matters with no recommendation to the full commission. Okay. Okay, we're voting now, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We voted.
It's unanimous.
No, 16.
That would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're on 16 now.
4, yeah. Mhm.
Is that a fire alarm? What's the big? What's the big?
You're going to let me know who the committee is that will be meeting with staff? Okay. Are we going to item 16 or are we going?
16.
Yes, ma'am. 15.
We got 14.
It was on consent. 14. Okay. 16, presentation of standard operating procedure project update.
Ms. Dawes?
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. If you recall, there was a request for all of the department directors to submit their standard operating procedures. I tasked Kelly Walker, the 311 manager, with this special project to review all of the department's procedures. And while reviewing them, we have determined that many of them do not include some of the routine and rudimentary practices that are carried on a day-to-day basis. And so I would like to recommend that the internal departments that are central to our government will have the next 4 months to complete all of their routine transactions, their day-to-day tasks, complete standard operating procedures. We'll review those and then get back to you within the next 6 months after completion and submission of those policies.
Thank you, Ms. Dawes. I think this was Commissioner Pulliam.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman Scott. I am great with that. I think even as this body continues to talk about auditing, we can't audit what's not there. So it's very important that those foundational processes are there for us to even start to consider any type of audit. Not that I am for an audit, but I'm just saying there's nothing there to audit because that's not there. So I'm good with that recommendation. Thank you so much, Administrator Dowse.
Motion receives information. That sound good?
You said, okay. Vote, Ms. Bonner.
It's unanimous.
All right. That concludes administrative service. Ms. Bonner?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is that everything? Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for being here. Point of personal privilege, today was a great day in Augusta. Standard Aero, a company that's been in Augusta for 50 years, announced a groundbreaking on a new airplane hangar that will provide hundreds of new jobs, as well as Be Pro, Be Proud, mobile workforce launch for students at T.W. Josie High School. We're doing great work in the community. I appreciate you guys being here. Have a great day. This meeting's hereby adjourned.